Welcome to the Rivalry Rant podcast. It's the Kentucky Wildcats versus the Louisville Cardinals and everything else in the world of sports. And now, your hosts, Josh Conder and David Smith. Let's get it on.
Welcome, everybody, to episode number 2 of the Rivalry Rant podcast. Here, the big chair, Josh Conder, once again joined by my co-host, David Smith, on this Monday, June the 12th. Dave, how things going?
Going well. Enjoying the baseball victory. It's the most I've enjoyed baseball in my whole life. Not a huge fan, but watching those games were fun. So.
How's the kiddo? Sleeping?
Finally sleeping, yeah.
Well, I hope you're dialed in, because this morning, me and Dave were texting back and forth trying to get a time together for tonight. His dishwasher was broke. He texted me this, and I replied, just kiddingly, that I asked what was wrong with his wife, because the dishwasher, and Dave didn't get it. So hopefully he's dialed in this evening, and we can get down to business here on the Rivalry Rant.
They still haven't finished the dishwasher. I have to get an appliance guy to come look at it.
So episode 1 in the books. I think we're at 90 views on YouTube.
12 of them probably for me to listen to it over.
I was not going to admit that, but so we're going to go with probably 70 more people than we thought would actually listen. So we got something going here, maybe. We're hoping that we can keep this rolling about every 2 weeks. We kind of had a lot of news back up, mostly on the Louisville side, that we had to force ourselves to get in here and get one of these knocked out. Over the weekend, the great state of Kentucky actually gave a damn about baseball. Solely because Louisville and Kentucky faced off in the Super Regional. I'll be the first to admit I watched more baseball this weekend than I have in probably 26 years of my life. And Saturday couldn't have been more waste of 3 hours sitting there watching that game for me. I watched the game Friday at work, but Louisville got the Cats. It
was fun to watch. I'm not going to act like I know a lot about baseball. I've probably only watched, embarrassingly enough, 3 or 4 UofL baseball games this year. I've just never been a big baseball fan, but that was fun this weekend, seeing both teams play against each other, how far they've gone. And it's pretty amazing, especially what the Louisville program's been able to do since 2007, Coach McDonald being there and going back to another World Series. I think this is his 3rd one, so it was fun to watch. This is his 4th? 2007, 2014, 2013, and then this year. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because then you had the 2 back.
That's embarrassing. I don't know that, and Connor does.
Yeah.
I'm rolling with it, though.
Only reason I know is because Drew Ellis kept getting home runs over the banner and outfield.
Man, he was unbelievable.
He had a hell of a series, and I love that he hadn't done a lot the last 2 weeks coming into the postseason, and he just beats the brakes off the ball.
And he did against Kentucky in the regular season, too. I think he's had 7 homers against UK. So.
But you guys, where you thought you would be at this point as far as baseball goes, like you all thought you were a contender for the College World Series. On the Kentucky end, I'm blown away by it. We were projected to finish 12th in the SEC, and came in, won our regional, made it to the Super Regional, and you could definitely see, as I was watching, there's a gap between the 2 programs. We're not where Louisville is by no means when it comes to baseball, but I think Kentucky had a lot of chances, especially in the second game.
Well, the funny thing about baseball is you can get a lot more lucky in baseball than you can in other sports. I think that's why a lot of UofL fans are worried about that game. I think there's definitely a talent discrepancy. Obviously, Brandon McKay won the Golden Cleats this year. He's a player. He's probably going to be the number 1 draft pick. McClure pitched a great game the game before that. And also, you have kids like Ellis, too. There is a talent discrepancy, but anything can happen in those college baseball playoffs.
I would have much rather saw McKay pitch on Friday instead of waiting until Saturday when he went head-to-head with our ace. I think that hurt our chances big time.
Yeah, and I think that's why McDonald made the call. If you put McKay on the mound Friday and something happens and UK were to steal that game, I think it'd be hard for us to come back and win it.
No, it'd have been.
After getting that game won, you almost knew that you're going to win with McKay the next day.
Nah, I would have liked to have seen Jelly go the first day, even though he did have to even throw Monday in our win in the regional to get us there. But I thought we were in trouble when I knew we were going to go head-to-head, especially when we didn't get any offense going on Friday until real late. So congrats to the Cards as much as I hate it.
It'd be interesting to see what happens in Omaha.
They're going to be a tough out.
I don't pretend to know about any other team, but I think we probably have a good chance to win it than anybody.
I flipped around and watched a couple games, and you got pitching is going to win it for you, and I think they've got as good as pitching as anybody. All I'm asking is, will the second baseman please take the cornrows out of his hair?
Nah, you got to go with the hair.
White guys can't rock.
Got to go with the hair,
man.
You can't change it now. You can't change it after you won.
It's so low.
It would be bad voodoo to change it.
I guarantee he hit Crown Royal that night. That's the stereotypic, man.
After the win, I hope he had something.
If he's
21.
If he's of age, yeah.
Of course, he's not going to drink if he's below 21. Of course.
But like I said, congrats to Louisville. I guess now the state of Kentucky can go back to.
What's funny about that weekend too is you saw so many people talking trash. I'm like, come on, guys. I threw a broom sweep to Connor after the game, another buddy, but obviously just one weekend everybody decided to really care about baseball, and it's great. It shows that the programs have gone further, especially UofL, but there's a lot of people that pushed it a little too much. I pushed it a little bit, but just enough to not get called out.
There was people talking trash that couldn't name a player, I feel like.
Yes.
But from people I heard that were at the game, I knew had 2 or 3 clients that were down there. It was actually fairly enjoyable. It wasn't like football or basketball when we're sitting there and we hate each other. Like they sat in the behind home plate and they talked to Louisville fans. Everybody got along. It seemed like everybody was just out there having a good time. So
sounds kind of a weak environment.
Oh, well, 2 out of 3 sports we want to kill each other. We can take a third that we can kind of get along with.
I guess.
But anyway, roll into the next part. Calipari and this under-19 team are about to fire up and start tryouts here. I've been, as a Kentucky fan, interested to see who he's going to pull from our roster to give a chance to try out. The tryout list came out last week, I think. And he pulled Kevin Knox, Hamadou Diallo, and P.J. Washington. So you got to go ahead and say that those 3 he's not going to cut those guys. He's going to put them on the team.
No.
He's not going to cut them. But what's interesting to me, as I was at work today doing my show prep, scrolling through the Louisville message boards, Louisville fans are a little upset because Romeo Langford out of Indiana up there got an invite.
I mean, I don't know. I think, Romeo Langford's a great player, so I think a lot of people are expecting him to have the invite because I think he's, the 3rd or 4th best player.
He's damn
He's a
good.
player.
Yeah.
He's going to be a 1 year and done. I really don't care where he goes as far as I can tell, but I definitely think it's an advantage that Calipari's going to be with him. He's going to be coaching him. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He's going to be, being with him every step of the way, and that's a pretty big deal to be on that team. So I would definitely say it's a strategy, but I don't know if it's necessarily he's only invited as a recruiting tool because he's a great player.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, but there's got to be a recruiting side to it as well. Because Kentucky fans were kind of surprised to only see 3 guys that are on our current roster actually make the roster or the tryout roster. But I've heard, of course, they're going to Egypt and there's some things going on over there. There's players that their families don't feel comfortable with them going. But to me, I think that's kind of where Cal probably looked at it and tried to get as many UK guys as he could. And after that, he just shifted it to the next class. Because there's 5 or 6 guys that are on that tryout roster that he's going after. And he's going to go after the best of the best anyway. But it has to bug coaches because it ticks them off.
Well, yeah, I think it does bug coaches. What I don't understand is recruiting is so strict. I mean, you can't give a recruit $5 to buy a McDonald's hamburger, but you can coach them for a whole league, and that's way more of an upper advantage than anything else. That's why I don't really like to get in recruiting, because I think the rules and restrictions and regulations are ridiculous, and there's so many ways around it. I mean, you can't blame Cal for using that strategy. Any coach would. Yeah. But, yeah, I don't think it's necessarily right, but it's not like that's something that's just happened this year.
I mean, Coach K was coaching the Olympic team, with those guys. So, I mean, I know that it's not players that he's recruiting, but it has to help him out a little bit, I would think.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, and the thing about Romeo Langford, and I don't keep up with recruiting too much, but I don't think anybody really knows where he's going.
No.
I really think that is a coin flip. I think Duke, UK, and Louisville all have the same percent chance to get him. I don't think he's leaning toward one or the other. I don't even think he knows where he's going to play yet.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I haven't heard anybody really shift one way or another. But speaking of talented basketball players, David, you guys finally locked up some talent in this recruiting class.
Finally.
Yeah, finally
locking up talent.
I mean, as a top 13 player, ESPN 13.
Yeah, well, Smarto Santa's the number 1 player.
Well,
but I know what you mean. We don't normally get the 5-star.
And the one-and-done age. Yeah. So tell me about this Bowen kid.
Well, it was a surprise recruit. I know Drew Diener is not listening to us. He actually broke the news at first with the Brian Bowen. Nobody really knew about the kid. Nobody thought we were going to get him. And all of a sudden, he just kind of falls in our lap. Drew Diener said he had a source that he was on campus and that Coach Pitino was recruiting him. And, Brian Bowen really did a smart thing. He's waiting to the last minute to commit somewhere, and I think you're going to see more of that. Because for the longest time, he was a Michigan State lean, and they had a couple players come back.
Well, he committed to Michigan State, right? And then
he might have been verbally committed at one point, but he wasn't verbally committed there right before us. But they had a couple players that he thought was going to go pro that came back, and I can't think of their names now. But I think you're going to see more top-level talent do that and wait until the last minute to pick a school, because they can pick a school where they know they're going to get immediate playing time. But he was definitely a surprise. He's the type of player that can really elevate us to Sweet 16, Elite 8 contenders. I think Final Four contenders.
No, I think he makes you a threat. I won't say title, but I definitely think Elite 8 should be expected. Final Four run, not out of question at all. But it's going to lead into the debate. Is Rick finally going to coach a freshman? Rick, in Kentucky fans' eyes, Rick hates freshman players because they're not up to speed. And he really hates freshman guards. So you guys are going to have to go with Q now, VJ, and this Bowen kid probably?
Well, I'm going to address both of those. First of all, I think the theory that Pitino hates freshmen is only popular because Calipari uses freshmen so much. Kelly Dickey, who's a Louisville guru, tweeted something out a few days ago that in Pitino's tenure, 15 years, he started a freshman 8 out of the 15 years in the season over. He plays freshmen, but here's the big difference. He doesn't get the NBA talented guys like Cal gets on a consistent basis. Like last year. People bash Pitino for not playing VJ King, but who's he going to play over? Donovan Mitchell, Dang Adele? He simply wasn't as good as those guys. I mean, when Shane Bohannon and Wayne Blackshear came in, they were solid freshmen, but they played a lot because there wasn't anybody on the team better than him. So I think it's a big misconception that he hates freshmen. Is he harder on freshmen? Absolutely. But he also doesn't have that one-and-done talent consistently like Coach K and like Coach Cal. Do you agree with that, or do you not agree?
Oh, he doesn't have – he's not loading up on the recruiting classes. But it seems like to me nowadays, if you're a top 20 kid, you can go – to me, you have a lottery ticket, which is the Cal analogy that he uses. And – riding the pine isn't doing you a whole lot. So, you're as a little fan, you're going to argue that all kids don't want to go one and done. Some of them want the college experience stuff. But, man, when you got that kind of talent, that's a lot of money on the line to be sitting there. So, are you going to, like VJ King, he was a great get for you all. The kid could have probably, and everybody argues that Anthony Davis could have been the number 1 pick wherever he went. Because he was so damn good.
I think any Power 5 school he probably could have been.
Yeah. So, to me, as freshmen, you see him come into Louisville's program, and VJ King, 5-star kid, which I know it was hard for him to play over anybody. I would have expected him maybe a little more than he did.
I mean, it's fair to expect a little more playing time, but again, I don't think VJ King was a one-and-done talent. It's like, it is interesting because with Brian Bowen, from everything I've heard, from everything you read about him, he could be a one-and-done talent. So it is going to be really interesting to see what Rick does with him. But I honestly can't think of many 5-star freshmen that Patino has had that is considered a one-and-done talent? I mean, sitting here thinking about it, I honestly can't. I mean, what do you think?
There's not. I mean, VJ, I just looked it up. He was ranked 23rd by ESPN.
And it's like next year we have kids like Courtney Ramey and Anthony Simmons, great players, but they're not in the top 15. They're like in the top 25 to 50. And those kids, a lot of times, they don't go one and done. You know, a lot of times it takes them 2 years. You look at guys like Terry Rozier, 2 years NBA. I think Harrell went in 3 years. Onawaki went in 2 years. Mitchell went in 2 years. Those kids who aren't that one-and-done talent a lot of times take 2 or 3 years to develop. And I think if you put a kid like VJ King on Cal's team, I don't think he's going to the NBA.
Okay. My rebuttal to that would be, coming into college, Devin Booker was not a one-and-done kid.
Yeah, but I think
let's see where he was. Go ahead.
I think there's exceptions.
Oh, definitely. But here's the thing. If you're not playing in the playing time, there's no way to improve your stock.
Yeah, and again, I think if Patino had a freshman that was legitimately better than a person ahead of him, he's going to play. Because here's the thing. With Coach Patino, Coach Cal, Coach K, all these great coaches, they're going to play the best players. It don't matter if you're a freshman or senior. They're going to play the best players. And I think you're going to see that this year with Brian Bowen. I think he's going to get 35 minutes a game.
True.
I do. I think this is going to be a different. And I'm going to tell you, talk about Romeo Langford, I think this is almost an audition to see what Rick can do with Brian Bowen. Can he get him in the league in 1 year?
Booker was ranked 18th, but he didn't come up there till the very, very end of the class. And Cal, I think if you asked him, he was telling you he wasn't going to be a one-and-done kid. Because you got to think, the year after Booker, we struggled a little bit. And that was when you had Murray and Ulis there instead of where it should have probably. But then again, you probably don't get Jamal Murray if you got Devin Booker back for another year. So you guys are finally going one and done. You finally got one to say yes.
I mean, it's also, there's also exceptions where one and done type players, or people say they should be one and done, don't go one and done. I think like Alex Porthers, wasn't he like the number one player?
He was projected number one.
So I'm not saying it's automatic, but just the perception is Brian Bowen could be a one and done player. And honestly, I don't remember Patino ever having a one-and-done type player. I guess Samardo Samuels, he was number one in the nation. To me, that'd be the only one that would be considered that. I mean, he's had some five-star freshmen. There's a big difference between five-star and one-and-done. Like Malik Williams, center, he's a five-star that we're getting this year, but not many people think he's going one-and-done.
Fair enough.
We'll see what happens. It'll be interesting.
Very true. I'm gonna at the very end, I want to tie that back in to where I'm going, because I have
he has Arsenal left in his gun, and he doesn't want to use it. Yes, he makes the driving point at the very end to leave the viewers with the last point.
I'm gonna lay it on him real heavy here in these last 20 minutes probably. But David, have you seen the picture of William Gabriel?
Up until 10 minutes ago, I did.
Now, also, David is on Twitter now, guys, so if you want to throw him a little hit
I have 16 followers. I'm running strong with 16.
He's going up there. But Winnie Gabriel did this 3-week workout program. And guys, if you haven't seen the picture, go to Twitter and look at it. I'm not doubting that the kid worked out, but my God, that transformation in 3 weeks is a little crazy.
Yeah, it was something. I mean,
we're not going to talk about his washboard stomach or anything.
Yeah, I don't really know what to think about it. I mean, I guess it's amazing what you do when you put work in at the gym. I mean, I guess if for 21 days you're doing nothing but working out, doing intense workouts and eating right, I guess it's amazing what it can do for you.
Yeah, I think he did some boxing, was thrown in there. He had a little bit of everything.
So he had to have a personal trainer.
He did.
Just have like a manual of what to do.
He definitely, which I mean, he was probably off campus a little bit, because now the guys are just now starting to roll in.
Now, in a situation like that, somebody gets that cut that quick, do you think they maintain that throughout their collegiate career, or do you think it just goes up and down?
I mean, you probably got to, those guys that are active every day, you probably. Yeah. But then again, he could have went and ate an all-you-can-eat buffet, took the picture, and then started working out.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
He could have been a little bloated in the before pick. So now it's going to get a little heated. Me and David agreed to be friends after this. The thing that's on everybody's mind.
No, your mind.
No.
Your mind and UK fans' mind. Out of the state of Kentucky, nobody's mind.
Except the 1,200 people that have read the topic on the Louisville message boards talking about this Louisville Foundation audit. Now, I will
seatbelts.
Yeah, because we're going to get into it here. First off, before we dive into this, the reviews we got from the first podcast said there wasn't much of a rant, that we didn't get into it. So this is a rant that's been brewing about 3 years in the making.
More on your side.
Yeah, when I started
I've
complaining big time about James Ramsey. So it's going to get a little heated here, folks. But anyway, the audit of the Louisville Foundation, it broke, was it Friday, I believe?
I think so.
Yeah, Friday afternoon. That evening, actually, because they went into like an executive session. And by no means am I a lawyer, and by no means am I smart enough to sit down and read a 132-page document where they break down where every dollar that was spent went. So we're going to focus on the athletics part of it first, or actually just the overall picture of it first, and then we'll kind of branch to athletics. But Dave, you even retweeted something that was like the last 3 years of being a Louisville fan are a little bit exhausting. Or
yeah, it was pretty cool.
It was some kind of little mean.
I'm exhausted.
But I mean, my God. Can we both agree? I mean, here of late, you did go and pretty much say Ramsey was the bad dude and needed to get out of there.
Well, yeah, he needed to get out of there, and it's obvious. I don't even know if the most illogical UofL fan would say he should be out there.
Is that before he pulled you guys out of the NCAA tournament? Probably not.
Even brewing up to that, though.
But even brewing up to that, I heard your dad, for one, talk about how much he had done for the university.
I'm just going to tell you, look, the way he did it wasn't right. But what he has done for the university, whether it was ethical or not, is unbelievable.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it is. So that's not necessarily a false statement.
Well, you give me
it's wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not wrong, but it's kind of like somebody in the mob getting rich. Like, well, he's doing it right, but he ain't doing it the right way.
Yeah. But I feel like me and your dad went back and forth, and you two a little bit, being like, he's dirty. And it was, but he's doing this, this, and this, and this.
But here's the thing. When you're a fan of a team, and you're winning, and your athletic program's growing immensely, and you have all these accomplishments, all those achievements, it's hard to just say, all right, get rid of him. But I think after everything came out, and people realized what he was doing is stuff he shouldn't have been doing, I don't think anybody is debating on whether or not he should still be there. It was the right call to get rid of him.
I don't think so now, but I think it took him
because
pulling you out of the NCAA tournament for people to even start questioning.
I mean, obviously it made it worse because nobody wants to be out of the NCAA tournament, especially when you have a contending team. It wasn't fun, and that definitely made it worse. I mean, for sure. Because I remember after that, at first they were like, well, Ramsey made this decision, blah, blah, blah. And then Jurich was like, well, I made the decision. But I think that was really just so people would be less angry at President Ramsey at the time. But, I mean, I think it's a given. It was time for him to go. There's no question about it. He did unethical things.
No. And then, I mean, his aide, she received something like $4.9 million or something like that.
Yeah, it was insane. I mean, a lot of that stuff was insane. Look. Fair or not fair, whether it's right or not, with the whole audit situation, I'm not going to lie to everybody. It's not something I've ever really cared much about. Like, to me, it's just another thing that makes the university shown in bad light. Because, like, obviously it all started with the scandal stuff. Then a lot of people care with the Young Center deal. Another topic I can care less about.
Oh, yeah.
Then you had the ridiculous Wake Forest playbook scandal, if you want to call it that, when their coach gave us our plays, but somehow that's wrong. And so you had all these things pop up. And so the audit's just one more of those things where it's just like, well, it's something else. But, like, I feel like today's Monday, it came out Friday, and I already don't think many people care about it.
David, there's 1,200 top There's 1,200 people looking on a message board. People care about it. I'm one of them.
Message board?
You go to the Louisville Scout message board right now, and the thread that's on there's 1,200 people that have looked at that.
1,200 out of how many fans?
But of your message board fans, you think all of them are on the message board?
And probably most of those views came Friday.
No, because on Friday it wasn't a hot topic. Monday, it's a hot topic.
Monday? No, it was a lot more of a hot topic Friday.
No, it was not.
Yeah,
They didn't get released until 5 o'clock on Friday. People didn't start digging into it around 5 or 6 o'clock.
Digging into it. If you ask a general U of L fan, or a UK fan for that matter, about the audit, they're not going to know what you're talking about.
Oh, that's bull. That's bull.
Fans like us will know
delusional.
because we're on Twitter, we're on message boards. If you go up to a fan that all they do is watch the games, they don't necessarily keep up with every single player, everything going on, they ain't even going to know about the audit.
If they watch the 5 o'clock news they're talking about.
I don't watch 5 o'clock news.
You have Twitter, though.
People
are tied
just
in.
now, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about it. How is it going to affect us in the future? It's not. Look, we were in the wrong. We fired the president who was responsible for it. What else can you do? You go forward. Nothing else is going to come of it. Like, I care about the scandal because it directly, Katina Powell scandal, because it directly impacts our basketball program. This situation, from everything I read, here it is. You had a crooked president. You had a foundation that had all this money that they spent in ways they shouldn't have spent that they didn't get approval for. The president since then has been fired. What else is there? I just don't know how else it's even relevant at this point.
I think here's where it bugs the absolute hell out of me is we've heard Louisville's the most profitable athletic department in the country and all. Well, yeah, there was money that was backed up.
But, yeah, did that play a small role in it? Probably, but I definitely don't think that's the biggest role it played. I mean, you have great coaches, you have a great AD, you have great fans. That plays a big role in it, too. The audit stuff's one thing. I'm not saying that it didn't help contribute to being profitable, but even with the whole profitable thing, we're profitable. I don't know if many people care about that. Like 3 or 4 years in a row, it always came out, Louisville's most profitable sports team, whatever, blah, 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 athletic department. And I might throw a text saying, hey, did you see this? But it's not something like I took pride in. Like if the year after we weren't as profitable, I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
I still think it's from where I sit with it is I think there's you might I'm not even gonna say you're right on the end that a lot of people don't care about it. I think it's something that more people should give a damn about.
Well, I could agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I could agree with that. But what gets twisted in a lot of this too is, and this is a big thing, the foundation is for the whole university. It's not just athletics. So people shouldn't just only bash the athletic portion of it. This is for the whole university. It is a disturbing thing that this happened, that people were spending money like they shouldn't have been spending. But it's not just an athletic thing. It's a university thing. But what I'm saying is at this point, you fired the president. You fired who was responsible for it, who was behind the whole thing. What do you do from here? I mean, what else is there to do? From where I sit at, I think there's not and let me get this straight. There's not a ton out there that I don't hear ever any criticism of George. But why?
Never.
Why?
Okay,
so
here's my, and I'm not saying he has a huge part of it at all whatsoever. I don't think he's overpaid in my opinion, dramatically.
The best AD in the country.
Okay, is he 5 times better than Mitch Barnhart?
Yes, absolutely.
No, absolutely not. That's ridiculous.
Okay, but even if all right, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but
it's not his fault.
If somebody pays somebody, you want to keep them there, you keep them there.
If somebody,
that's why Nick Saban's making $8 million.
I'm not arguing the fact that, hey, if I'm him and they're like, hey, we're going to pay you $5 million a year, bring it on.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
No, he'd be stupid to say, no, it's too much money.
Yeah, like if my boss comes to me like, I'm going to give you 30 more grand this year. You want it? No, I don't want it. I need to know where that money's coming from.
Yeah.
First.
I'm not saying any of that. But there was 2 things in there besides the ticketing thing, which I really don't understand. Like, they paid money, they got sold. With the tickets thing that went on with the audit. But
anything, the ticket thing made me the most mad. But we can talk about that after your point.
But because it might be it might make me irate if I knew about it as a little fan. But it was just the wording was a little complex. But to the extent there was $2 million out of that foundation that paid for the soccer fields, that happened to be 2 years or so down the road that the athletic department paid back, but said it was paid for teachers' salaries.
Yeah, I mean,
I dove into this way more than you did, so I didn't expect you. So you're just going to take my word for that on that.
I'll take your word for it. Yeah. I didn't go through everything.
So that's where you seen the emails with the Smith lady where she's like, "Hey, throw this away. We don't."
Yeah. That was another thing. They're clearly covering up what they did with the money. Another bad look. Yeah. But I still don't know how that has anything to do with Tom Judge. You know,
they're still arguing about who actually owns that land, the athletic association or the foundation. Those are two different entities.
But again, it's just something that doesn't interest me in the least.
Of course not.
My level of caring and who owns the soccer.
You want to win some basketball games, but it's wrong.
Don't act like you're not the same.
Yeah. So don't act like he's a saint.
I don't think he's done anything. Nobody's even saying he's done anything wrong. There's no proof that said he has done anything out of the ordinary.
But I'm saying, my second point is where it really kind of grinds my gears. And I'm not saying that his son did not do anything, okay? But they paid him out of that foundation to avoid the laws that are set up where...
For nepotism.
Yes. So,
but again, it's not Tom Judge giving them the money. You know, one big misconception after this broke, everybody's
it's not Tom Judge giving him money because that's nepotism.
Exactly.
But he did give him the job. And you know what? After he got the job, he knew he was getting paid from somewhere. So Judge knew that he was getting paid out of that foundation.
That's not what the audit said. The audit
you
said
need to tell me Judge didn't know where his son was getting paid from.
I mean, regardless if he did or not, he has nothing to do with the foundation. He doesn't run the foundation. He runs the athletic department.
But he's getting money from the foundation. That's where I think it's a little shaky.
Here's the thing with Judge. When it first came out, everybody was like, "Oh, Judge's son just getting paid for doing nothing." No. He's like the biggest fundraiser.
He does nothing for the foundation, though.
He is the associate athletic director. He does nothing for the foundation. He should have been paid from the athletic department.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. But no fingers are pointing to Judge and that's his fault. He has nothing to do with it.
Did Judge hire his son?
I don't know who hired him. I guess.
I feel like the head AD is going to hire the assistant.
I don't know the hiring process. If it's nepotism, he probably didn't hire him.
See, that grinds my gears. Because there's a little bit of like, that doesn't look good for Tom. But you know what? You're winning basketball games, you're winning football games.
Here's the thing.
Blah, blah, blah.
Let's not go with a winning pedestal. The number one priority in every major college program is to win. And if you say it's not, you're full of it. That's for UK, Alabama, Clemson, every major college program. If they don't win,
Scandal
you. That's the only reason this audit's a big deal. If those other things didn't occur that are unrelated,
a lot of this was talked about before the scandal.
It's like the Wake Forest playbook thing. Are you telling me that would have been a big a deal as it was if it wasn't for the other stuff that's going on? A coach who gave somebody the plays free willingly.
It's time after time.
It is. And look, I agree. It is exhausting. It's been a long few years. But here's what UofL has done. In every single situation, everything that's came up, they have admitted fault and they're fixing the problem. They've done it they didn't try to
except for Rick Pitino, we're going to go to bat for him.
They should go to bat for him. If they feel like he's not implicated, they should go to bat for him.
Anyway, I think the audit is a much bigger deal, and you can go and look on your little message board, check it out.
I searched 1,200 views on message boards, a big deal.
David, you want to know what the second most viewed topic on there right now on the front page of it is? If Cal and Romeo Langford.
You know way too much about the UofL message boards.
Because that's where I get my juice from,
man. He hangs out on the UofL message boards to look at my posts.
I search David's stuff to make fun of him about it, and then I see who was talking about what to get my show stuff for. That's where I got the Romeo Langford.
You were doing this way before the podcast.
No. I have to get my juice. Yeah. I have to get my juice.
What's next?
Well, we're going to roll on into Louisville.
Another terrible topic.
Kentucky's just waiting for some football to be played.
Well, we're going to Omaha, though. So.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only thing good going on for you this week.
Oh, no.
You got
a lot of stuff going on for us this week.
Yeah, Committee of Infractions are really supposed to come down here in about 2 days, I think.
Thursday will be the last day. Thursday makes 8 weeks. And like the NCAA, they're going to drag it out as long as they can.
So what do you think happens?
It's hard to predict. I mean, I can't make a prediction that's going to go one way or the other. I think that Pitino will get a suspension. I don't think it'll be 9 games. Here's why I don't think it'll be 9 games. The NCAA has been pretty clear that even if the head coach doesn't know what went on, which it's proven Pitino didn't know, I don't think anybody's going to argue that, you still have to be held to responsibility. Okay?
It's the should have known factor.
Should have known factor. Boeheim and Brown both got 9-game suspensions. But their case differs from Pitino's in the fact that both of those coaches, if I'm not mistaken, were charged with failure to monitor their program. And both of the schools were charged of lack of institutional control. Pitino was charged with failure to monitor a staff member, meaning he was failed to monitor one assistant in Andre McGee. The other 2 coaches were failed to monitor pretty much everybody. So I don't think he'll get 9 games. I think you're looking at 3 to 5 games. And I think that when he gets those 3 to 5 games, I think UofL will appeal it. I do. I think that'll happen. I do think he'll get a suspension. I don't think it'll be 9 games, 3 to 5 games. I think maybe we'll get some more recruiting restrictions. We might lose some scholarships. I think we'll definitely get put on probation.
Well, you held your last scholarship. You have one available right now, and you all pulled it, right?
Well, we use it for Bowen. We use it for Bowen. So I think they're going to take more scholarships. I don't think we'll get any records vacated. I don't think the ban will come down, although I think it's a possibility. I don't see it happening. Here's why. And this is a big misconception between a lot of people, too. Just because a player receives impermissible benefits, first of all, we don't know for 100% sure if the NOA has players from that title year. But just because a player receives impermissible benefits, that doesn't automatically make them ineligible. Like UofL had a couple of players like 10 to 15 years ago, Samaki Walker and somebody else, probably longer than that. They actually received impermissible benefits a lot higher than what happened in this scandal. And no wins were vacated. Many times impermissible benefits automatically doesn't mean vacated records. More often than not, when teams vacate records, it's because schools and programs knowingly play ineligible players. It's one of the reasons Syracuse had a lot of their games vacated, because they knowingly played players with the drug test thing. They had failed drug tests. They played them anyway.
But Syracuse, they vacated everything around the season with the titles.
And here's the other thing, too. And here's what makes me kind of feel confident we won't have wins vacated or that title is because UofL was not hit with lack of institutional control. That is the biggest charge you can get hit with. They were not hit with that. Most schools who vacate records are always hit with that lack of institutional control charge. We weren't hit with that. That being said, it's the NCAA. You know, they could do anything. They've also never taken a title before. USC had their title taken in football in 2004, but the BCS actually took that. It wasn't the NCAA. So we'll see soon enough, but I'm ready for it to be behind us. What do you think will happen?
I think the banner stays. I think Rick gets hammered a little bit more than what you think, solely because they tried to appeal. That was like the only thing they wanted to argue about. And I don't care if he gets suspended 1 game. If they try to appeal that,
I think they're going to appeal it.
Mom, earmuffs. It's bullshit.
The reason why I say they're going to try to appeal this is because they've already gone this far. Like, if they weren't
But as a Louisville fan, are you not ready for it just to be done with?
I am ready for it to be done with. Like, if they came out and they were like, Patino's getting a 5-game suspension, I'd be like, all right, who cares? At the end of the day, what's 5 games? I mean, 5 games in the beginning of the season, if anything, is going to help Kenny Johnson a little bit on the bench. I mean, I don't think that's – obviously, you don't want to see it happen as a UofL fan. I don't want to see it happen. But if they came out and said he gets 5 games and that's the rest of our infractions, I'm taking it all day.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
The banner's still up.
And that is one thing I'll be the first one to admit. I think it's ridiculous that the NCAA expects head coaches to know these things going on. You know, you can't expect head coaches to be in dorms. You can't expect head coaches to be at homes. You can't expect head coaches to be at parties with these players. But I don't know how U of L can really fight the failure to monitor Andre McGee charge, because here's the thing. It might have been unrealistic to monitor him, but if he was monitored, it wouldn't have happened. So I don't really get that. I'm with you with that. I'd rather him just take the suspension and be done with it.
Nah.
But they're behind him. I'm telling you, if he gets suspended, they're going to appeal.
Well, now
and at that point, I kind of hope they do. Like at that point, they're like, "Well, we're not going to take the title away. We're going to suspend Patino." And then if they're like, "We're going to appeal it," I'm going to be like, "This just makes for more fun topics to make Connor mad."
Mm-hmm. My blood pressure can't handle that because that'll be ridiculous.
It will be funny if they don't suspend him. It will be genuinely.
Rick, you're not suspended, so go ahead and go to Vegas and get on the craps table.
I think it was Pat Forday wrote an article today where Hugh Freeze and Patino changed the way the NCAA charges coaches because Hugh Freeze is in a similar circumstance. Ole Miss has his back with their scandal going on too. So
Hugh Freeze is a bigger cheater than Rick Pitino, though. By the way, you didn't compliment the picture of Rick Pitino that's now in the room. It just happens to be on an Unforgettables Michael Mark bottle, so.
I'm not a big fan of that picture.
Young Rick. I think I'm going to get a little Walmart smiley face sticker to put on.
Yeah. Oh, and one thing I say about Patino is a lot of UK fans forget this. He came to Kentucky when Kentucky was on probation and turned that program around from years of scandalous things that went on there, and he turned it around and won a national championship and should have won another. So, there's that.
I'm not mad that he left Kentucky. I'm mad he went to Louisville.
Everybody's mad he left Kentucky. No. Everybody's mad.
Dude, he got a chance to coach in the NBA. That'd be like me I coach high school wrestling, now I get to coach college wrestling. You can't be mad at somebody for bettering yourself.
I guess a little bit.
But if he went to Michigan, it would have all been fine. No, he had to come to Louisville.
Well,
I had to come to Louisville.
You got to go to the best university. Why wouldn't you go to the best university?
Oh, go to the best job.
Yeah,
but don't sit there, Camelot. I should have never left Camelot.
When you have a chance,
and then flick us off while you walk out of the arena.
When you have a chance to go to the best university in the nation, you go. That's why Dan McDonald's at U of L too.
Dan McDonald's at U of L because y'all pay him $1 million a year. Exactly. But you only got 30 days of money left to keep the school running. Myth my ass.
Yeah.
I've been cussing way too much in this one.
I like how Papa John, too, like a week ago, was like, I think Church is doing a great job. I just, I don't know why I said that. Did you see where he said that? Basically.
Probably threatened to pull the pizza deal.
I don't think it hurt
George probably did.
Much.
I don't know, man. I mean, his name's on the stage.
He's a billionaire.
But anyway, if he is, back to when we talk about Bowen, if Rick is suspended, does that hurt his development any? Because you know that you want those 5 gimme games.
I don't know. I really think if Rick's suspended the first 5 games of the season, I just don't know how much of an impact that's going to be.
Okay, now what?
It might be. I mean, I should take it back. It will be an impact. I don't think it's going to be an impact of him being a one and done to not being a one and done.
But everything that I've read, that was the beer bottle top that David dropped. Yep, we did have his code beverage during this podcast. But if I'm reading stuff right, the ACC can also come on Patino.
They can suspend him his games be ACC games. They tried to do that with Jim Boeheim. They appealed it, and Jim Boeheim didn't get that, and he got the first 9 games of the season. I will be surprised if he gets 9 games. I'll be the first one to say I'll be surprised. You'll tell me you told me so if they do. I'll be surprised.
I hope so.
I just don't see it.
The state of Kentucky needs some justice due to
I think
scandalous things at the University of Louisville.
It's ridiculous. If he gets 9 games, I don't think that's right because Boeheim and Brown were charged with more serious charges than he was. To me, that wouldn't make sense. I'll be surprised.
They could suspend him for
3 to 5.
Be glad he kept the banner up. That should be your number one concern is the banner.
Well, yeah, I mean, at this point, it's your number one concern because you already had a postseason ban, which you were a contender. You've already self-imposed yourself. You've already complied with the NCAA every step of the way. Let me tell you this. We'll get into it more after the Committee of Infractions ruling. If they end up taking our banner and they end up vacating 4 years worth of victories, our 2012 Final Four, our 2013 banner. We've self-imposed, we've reduced scholarships, we're on probation, Patino gets suspended, and we've complied and told the truth all the way through. No team will ever comply with the NCAA again. You will take the North Carolina route all day long because there would be no point in complying at that point. None.
Unless they give you the death penalty.
You can only get the death penalty if you're already on probation, so that's implemented. Taking North Carolina around all day if that happens. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, Thursday is going to be, that's the last day. It could be tomorrow. We don't know.
Could be. Who knows? It'll probably somehow extend further.
It'll probably be a 200-page book that David won't find that important, so I'll have to read it.
The only thing I'll find important is I will look through the summaries of it. I will not read the whole thing.
No. Well, anywho, it's been real. They got a little more heated.
It was better. It got a little more heated than last week.
To wrap up here, I want to throw 2 shout-outs to Cardinal fans. And Kentucky fans, you're kind of letting me down. Kush Patel and Sean Smith, thanks for the big shout-out on Twitter. I really appreciate it. Kentucky fans, you're slacking. Give me some support. Get it out to your mama, your papa.
2 UofL fans sharing it out there.
Yeah. So, Cats fans, I need a little support. Get this out here. And we're going to come back with another one right after this Committee of Infractions. And then after that, it'll probably be slow until football gets
I can't wait till we can talk about sports and I don't have to talk about this crap.
Well, if your school...
I can't wait to talk about football recruiting.
If your school would quit having scandals, then we won't have to talk about it.
We're almost out the door.
Yeah, and so you say.
We're close.
But anyway, we appreciate it. And until next time, thanks, guys.